Who the hell are you guys?
We are experiencing some dark times in the world right now. In the midst of a global pandemic, people are getting sick and apparently shitting themselves to death as toilet paper has become the hardest thing on this earth to find, second only to that perfect anime waifu, of course. Now more than ever, it's important for people to be able to indulge in some escapism. Personally, I love to watch some movies, play some video games. Doom Eternal just came out, and that's just fucking mwah. A beautiful symphony of blood and gore. It's truly magnificent. I'd highly recommend it if you haven't picked it up yet. But when I want to give my eyes a break from some screens, I enjoy comic books. It's always nice to go through and reread some of my favorite stories like Batman Hush, which is the graphic novel that got me into collecting comics, or The Long Halloween. Perhaps you want something a little more violent like the Punisher Warzone series, or Crossed if you really want something fucked up. There are just so many great stories to revisit, but sometimes you want to read something new. I always love seeing new heroes, and I get excited thinking about what possibilities that they bring with them. What new adventures are we going to go on with these characters? Characters that will surely stand the test of time and live on for generations. You know what? Let's take a look at what Marvel's coming out with these days. Oh my god. Is this a joke? Join me in today's video where we take a look at Marvel's baffling decision to announce whatever the hell this is, and also discuss what this means for the comic book industry and struggling comic book shops across the country. Over the years, I've noticed the quality of Marvel's products declining, while at the same time seeing the amount of woke trash increasing. It's almost as if these two are related somehow. Strange. I'm mainly addressing the comic side of Marvel, although their film division has certainly made some questionable choices with their films along with the people they've chosen to write, direct, and star in those films.
The humanity that she can bring to it and just the range of emotion that she can express and not wanting to create a superhero where we're denying that but where we're really embracing it. It was definitely one of the reasons that we...
The comic division of Marvel is certainly not without its faults, however. Marvel seems to have lost their spark as time has gone on, and we've seen their comics become made to mirror what's going on in their film universe. For example, we've had the painfully boring Civil War II, which was created to tie in with the, at the time, new Marvel film Captain America Civil War. Of course, since we already had the real Civil War comic come out, which was fantastic by the way, Captain America was right, Marvel just shoved Captain Marvel in to fight Iron Man so we could have her dominate him and put him in a coma to really show that she is the bestest, most powerful character ever. More recently, we've seen Marvel take the long-standing love triangle between Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey and attempt to turn them into a polyamorous relationship. No, I'm not joking. Nothing is ever explicitly stated in the comic, but Marvel is trying to make it seem like there's a lot more going on between the three, especially between Wolverine and Cyclops. The two men who can hardly stand one another, they just take turns cucking each other while they pipe Jean Grey, and the other just sits there and watches. Or maybe it's just some crazy threesome, who knows? Anything is possible with the Woke Brigade when they have their grubby hands on everyone's favorite mutants. Speaking of the talentless hacks writing most of Marvel comics, we have people like Dan Slott, the writer of the Fantastic Four, who said if you like Trump, well fuck you. Then he proceeded to block thousands of people on Twitter who called him out on his idiotic idea to insult half of the country and alienate comic buyers who happen to support the president. Nice job showing off your Trump derangement syndrome, you blob. And then now, of course, we have Daniel Kibblesmith. Marvel has unveiled their latest abortion that they are attempting to pass off as a creative idea. Meet the New Warriors. No, not the good New Warriors. This is the New Warriors. This train wreck of a team is an absolute disgrace to superheroes, from their design to their names and even their powers and the way in which that they got them. They're all just god-awful. Hold on to your butts because we're going to dive deep into the mud with this one as we dissect Marvel's New Warriors.
This isn't a mud hole. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon.
First up, we have Trailblazer, also known as Maple Donut. Can you guess what her power is? Judging by the looks of her, it's emptying out an entire Krispy Kreme all by herself, but no. Her power is actually nothing. She's not super at all. She doesn't have any powers. She inherits a magic backpack which probably has a lifetime supply of insulin in it. This is not to say that a hero can't obtain a magical device or item that gives them access to great power. The Green Lantern comes to mind, but where the Green Lantern differs is that he was chosen for the ring due to the great amount of will that he possessed. Strong will, of course, being what gives a Green Lantern their power. It would be a lot less compelling and special if any rando off the street could just pick up the ring and start making constructs.
We picked the name Trailblazer because she's somebody who charges into action.
No, she will not be charging into battle. She will be rolling into battle. This isn't a Batman scenario where you have a well-trained, highly intelligent person who doesn't have any superpowers. This is an out-of-shape girl who's going to need to take 30-second breaks per every flight of stair that she attempts to climb. Donut is only the first character we're introduced to, though. Yeah, there's more.
Screen time is an internet kid taken to its sort of logical conclusion. As a youth, he was exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet gas.
I really don't know what to say about this one. I mean, internet gas. That's really the best that they could come up with. They couldn't have made him a kid who's paralyzed, and he just happens to have an insanely high intelligence. He spends all of his time online researching things. Maybe he creates an exoskeleton or a droid body that he can link up and control. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but anything is better than internet gas. Like, come on.
B negative is the goth kid. When he was a baby, he got a rogue life-saving blood transfusion, we assume from Michael Morbius.
I find B negative to be the least idiotic out of this group. And don't get me wrong, his name sounds like something a 12-year-old came up with.
Now he has a very similar look and very similar vampire powers. B negative also is obviously a pun. It's a blood type, which is great for a vampire character. And it's also a proud ownership of the idea of having a bad attitude.
Wow, how cool. He's a goth-looking character, and B negative is a blood type. What a cool name for a vampire. I mean, God, Jesus Christ, guys. I can see what they're going for here. B negative. God, I can't believe that I'm saying this name. This is the name that they're going with. B negative is going to be the Raven type character, but unlike Raven, he's just going to be an annoying, whinging cunt.
Do what I do best. Try not to be jealous.
He just put on 300,000 pounds.
And here we have the two that everyone is talking about, Snowflake and Safe Space. These two lovers are... Wait, they aren't lovers? What are they?
Snowflake and Safe Space are the twins.
Oh my God, they're siblings? Jesus Christ, Marvel. I know you're all about being progressive, but what's up with this incestuous duo you have here? I mean, really, why put them in the lover's embrace pose? Good Lord. Okay, I mean, they look like shit from a design standpoint, but maybe they have interesting powers and deep backstories? Let's find out.
Safe Space is kind of a big, burly, sort of stereotypical jock.
This character is not big, he is not burly, and I have no fucking idea what kind of drugs Daniel Kibble shit over here is smoking, but it must be some of that good stuff because this is not a stereotypical jock. Let's look at Cyborg. This is a character who was a jock. He's somebody that played football, and he looks like a man. Safe Space looks like he was made in a fucking cupcake factory. What about his powers, though?
He can create force fields, but he can only trigger them if he's protecting somebody else.
Wow. Just wow. Good luck being useful in a one-on-one fight, dude. Could you imagine Safe Space going up against somebody like Carnage or Taskmaster or even Bullseye? Basically, any fight he gets into when he doesn't have somebody else to protect, Safe Space is fucked. How about Snowflake?
Snowflake is non-binary and goes by they, them.
Well, we're off to a great start.
Snowflake has the power to generate individual crystallized snowflake-shaped shurikens.
That's it? She makes ice shurikens? This jackass literally just took two names, Snowflake and Safe Space, that he didn't like and created shallow characters that took on the traits of those words. We have Iceman. Iceman is a better character by himself than both of these piles of wet gravel. Iceman can cover himself in ice, making a shield. He can create ice walls for others as a shield. He can also use ice projectiles as weapons. He does everything that these two do, and he does it by himself. Not to mention, he is a gay character, which means he even fills the LGBTQ+ box that they're desperately trying to check off with Snowflake being non-binary. Let's face it, she was made because they wanted to make a non-binary character. While this is hilariously bad and just goes to show how out of touch Marvel has become, this is going to have a large negative impact on comic book shops and the people who run them as well as their employees. As mentioned earlier in the video, comic book sales have been declining year over year. We're seeing more comic book shops having to close up their doors because they're not making ends meet. This can be due in part to people being less interested in print media. Companies like Marvel and DC, they make it very easy to get their comics right on your phone, tablet, or computer, which of course isn't helping comic book shops any. But what else doesn't help them is when companies like Marvel, who make up for a majority of the books brought in by these shops, they're printing shitty stories that no one wants to read, like New Warriors or X of Swords. Cyclops has a lightsaber, oh my god. Marvel has jumped the shark. They're just going full-blown woke now. The self-awareness, this sort of self-deprecating humor, isn't cute. It's not funny. It's just pathetic. Judging by that like to dislike bar on this video here, I don't think New Warriors is going to last very long. Then again, Marvel doesn't really seem to give a shit what fans want, so who knows? Maybe they will keep their middle fingers firmly up in the fans' faces, the same fans who they want buying their trash books. I want to see the comic book industry thrive, but I believe that if Marvel continues down this path, they're going to hurt the comic book industry in a way that it won't be able to recover from. And it won't be the massive corporations that suffer, it'll be the little guys, our local comic book shops. That about does it for today's video. As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this. Are you excited for Marvel's New Warriors? Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked the video, drop a like, and if you really want to support me, subscribe to the channel and share this video on social media. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at MetalGearMando, and until next time, I will see you in the next video. I mean, thank God it's only one book. Marvel prints a lot of stuff these days. This is just one of those one-off bad books, right?
X-Men is supposed to be something that is, important to the now. And so what is more now than Zoomers? One of them has a TikTok. One of them has a fitness Insta. One of them is basically the moderator for the mutant subreddit.